It comes with this caveat. There's only 61 teams playing women's college volleyball in the country right now. But of those playing, the Kentucky Wildcats ranked number 2. That is the best in school history. And the Wildcats play host to the Auburn Tigers on a Saturday afternoon here in Lexington. We welcome you to Memorial Coliseum with the Executive Director of the AVCA, Kathy DeBoer. My name is Joel Gaudette, the rest of our crew, so glad to have you along with us. And Kathy, it's been a different kind of season here in the fall of 2020 because of the way that COVID-19 has ravaged college athletics. We will play an 8-match, 4-opponent back-to-back day schedule in the fall, but in the spring, a 16-match, more in-depth schedule for the SEC, and that's when things might get real.
Yeah, we're in the third out of the 4 weekends for the fall here, and then they're playing a complete round robin, according to Coach Craig Skinner the other day. So there are 8 more matches. A little different schedule. They haven't played the complete round robin in a couple of years, but they'll play 16 of the matches in the spring.
Kentucky's offense here in this fall season has been outstanding, led by a couple of All-Americans. They've been awesome, Stumler and Lily.
Yeah, they've played together for 3 years. Lily, the 2-time All-American, Stumler, the 2-time All-SEC player, and All-American last year and stuff, and just wide range of shots. These two really trust each other.
Take a look at the Kentucky players of the SEC players of the week. Well, how about that? All of them happen to be from Kentucky this past week.
And this is the second time this has happened, and we're just 3 weeks into the season. So you can see that the other coaches in the league have real respect for this Kentucky offense, anchored by Lily Curry at the libero, and this week adding Stumler to the mix.
Well, maybe we see Jackie Barrett on this list going forward. The freshman setter for Auburn. Brent Crouch, her coach, loves her. Why?
Says she's just got the whole package. She has size, she's got hands, good competitor. He loves how coachable she is. He thinks she's going to be one of the best in the league before it's done. And we just talked about one of the best in the league at Madison Lily, so that's high praise.
And we get underway immediately here in Lexington, and it all starts with a service ace for the Auburn Tigers, and that was one of the huge keys for Brent Crouch coming in. He knows his team is the underdog here, still winless Auburn. You've got to be able to serve with the big cats. Back set pushover. Lauren Durrell gets the start today after coming off the bench in their loss to Missouri last week. Took 23 swings, 12 kills, no errors. Ho-hum. Backswing, and Ajani Teeler going to work. We're tied at 1. She is the middle blocker for Kentucky. We'll see her play offense all across the front of the day.
Absolutely, 5'10" middle. So would be considered undersized for this league, but she doesn't play undersized. She moves the ball well around the net offensively.
Allie Stumler with the trigger serve for Kentucky. And that's a tool of the block for Auburn. And then it's the first kill for Tatum Shipes, averaging just a tick under 2 kills per set here in the early going of 2020. That sends Durrell back to the service line. Avery Skinner for the first time, and off the touch gets the kill. But let me go back to the service part of that, Kathy, because you saw it against Missouri last week, and you've already seen it here today. The opponent is going to target Stumler, and they're going to target Skinner, try to take them out of the offense.
Yeah, try and serve that front row outside hitter and see if you can throw them out of the rhythm.
Back to Shipes on the outside. That was high. Did it get a touch? It did not.
What Auburn has been looking for here is a consistent ability to stress the defense from the outside on out-of-system plays there. And Shipes missing that time, but that's what Brent Crouch is measuring some of their improvement on.
Getzinger, the freshman, getting stuffed at the front. That's what Auburn's best at.
That's going to be their bread and butter. They had 17 blocks in a 4-set outing last weekend at South Carolina, and so they're really good at setting up and taking away the athletes, the opponent's best shot.
Puts the Georgian Shipes back on the service line. Lily goes behind, right back to Getzinger. That's a veteran move for a senior setter. Your freshman makes a mistake, Give her the ball again.
Yeah, it's interesting because Lily loves to go back to the player that made a mistake. When they make two, you go, ew, why did you do that? But when they kill the ball, you go, oh, what a great job. So, as usual, we see what happens, and then we decide whether it was a good move.
Easy kill for Avery Skinner. There's a scouting report aspect to that, isn't there, though, if you're Auburn? Because you've got to be aware where Lily's going to go.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And, you and I have seen her enough. Those of us who do lots of matches in the SEC can pick up these kind of habits, but so can the assistant coaches who are putting together the scouting reports.
Elise Getzinger gone back to again, this time in front of the center. Madison Lilly continues a nice little service run here. Player of the week in the SEC, reigning so. Long way to go for Barrett. And that's sent long by Jaden Brown.
Jaden Brown has played middle for the other matches that Auburn has played in, but Brent Crouch says she has never practiced in the middle. He wants to move her to the outside, and that's what he's training her for.
Terrell tipped, and Avery Skinner came down awkwardly on that left leg. And it just got really quiet here inside Memorial Coliseum.
Absolutely, Avery Skinner just holding on to her ankle. Not showing a lot of emotion here right now, but definitely hanging on to the ankle, and now they're helping her up and let it come off the court here. Let's see if our guys can let us see what happened here. Tangled up with somebody else's.
Yep.
Yeah. So actually it was Getzinger. So she came down on Getzinger's foot and rolled her ankle. And got real quiet here because Avery Skinner has been having a breakout year so far this year, leading this team in both kills and hitting percentage, which is quite unusual, but 4.33 kills per set. We hope she's not severely hurt.
Freshman Sophie Fisher checks in to replace Skinner. Came onto the court with her mask on still. And there's a swing by Maddie Skinner, who has rotated in as well. It is Avery Skinner's younger and very highly recruited sister. So a ton of youth on the court right now for Kentucky. As a matter of fact, the entire front row has never taken a final exam in college. Three freshmen up front. Getzinger 11 in white. Fisher is 7 in white. Lily joins them to set, and it's Skinner with her first swing and a kill hard off the block. Walker checks in to serve on the back line. What you can say
Another
about
freshman.
Yeah, right. What you can say about Avery Skinner is if that was painful, and it looked painful, she is a warrior because there was not an ounce of wince on that face.
No, it was like, I think I hurt myself. Youch. But at this point in time, now you've got Maddie Skinner on the court, you've got Getzinger on the court, you've got Raya Walker on the court, so 50% of the Kentucky lineup is this very, very highly touted freshman class.
Tight set, Stumbler is set up, so feed your All-American.
Yeah, and a really interesting, I mean, you have to wonder, is that what Brent Crouch wanted to happen with the serve, where you're going to serve at Gabby Curry when you've got all this youth on the court? But they served her, she delivered.
Libero of the year gets killed that time. Lily did a good job to try to chase it down. Raya Walker as well. Kentucky's lead is sliced to 3 here in this first set. It's all about call and response. Kentucky took one on the chin last week against Missouri. It lost a first set, then it almost lost the second set. The first matchup with the Tigers won 35-33. How does it respond to adversity here of losing its leading attacker? And Stumler gets blocked right back down in the face of Ajani Taylor, and Auburn has a little bit of life back within one.
Andrew Douglas, lights out there.
Excuse me, back within two. Bella Rosenthal the service. Tip drill, Stumler, good pancake. Back set for Skinner. Tell you, she can fly.
Maddie Skinner finishing up after a nice defensive play here.
By your setter.
Auburn charging, coming in with an offensive attack, but not enough to score the point.
So Kentucky +3. Hitting 298, still early in the first set. It's a little bit below where they average on the season, but it's still very good. Ajani Taylor, you can't give them one-on-one swings like that. It's Kentucky's bread and butter.
Yeah, and then that rotation puts the defense in some, you got to make some pretty bad choices here. You either get Stumler on the one pin or you get Taylor on the other, and you're going to have to pick which one. Both of them one-on-one, they're going to finish it.
There's an ace. Put a point in the pocket of Lauren Tharp. How do you deal with Hobson's choices defensively?
Well, most coaches want their middles to stand and read. You know what it frequently sticks them in, though, is the fact that they're not gonna get to either pin. So sometimes you'll see, well, you just guess and take one, try and get two blockers on one side, and let the other one hit one-on-one.
Now there is a double block for Kentucky. It's Ajani Taylor combining with Madison Lilly.
Skinner loves here the move that Taylor is able to make to the outside. You can see how quick she is, closing on that swing blocking move, still getting her hands over the net.
Barrett sets up Snipes, and it's blocked again. It's Lilly and it's Taylor, and if there's a weakness for Kentucky, it's potentially that Ajani Taylor as your middle blocker is only 5'10". No one has exploited it yet through 5 matches.
Yeah, the 5'10" middle is going to be more of a liability if they are one, blocking quicks. Not so much making the move to the outside, because the swing blocking move allows them to get height and get over the net.
Got another pancake effort for Auburn that falls on deaf ears, and Kentucky with a 5-point run. Avery Skinner was in the lineup. She's not on the bench. She is in the locker room after falling awkwardly earlier in this first set. So Kathy DeBoer, some adversity for the young Cats.
Yeah, absolutely. And stuff. Two usual starters out with ankle sprains. So let's see how they handle this.
Barrett, first touch out to Durrell, and that gets tip blocked. That's Stumler and Lilly.
Taylor, I think Taylor gets that stuff in there. But Taylor here making a move, swing move out to the outside, and she's only halfway up when she gets there. And so on the tip, she just goes to the next floor on the elevator and stuffs the ball. Nice skill to have.
Well, and that's the thing when you talk about her being 5'10". She's not really 5'10". Stumler drops the thumb and takes the cut shot, and Kentucky now +10.
Stumler showing range here, and always has been a hitter with really good range. Sharp inside angle for her third kill.
This is where it gets a little unfair for Kentucky. That's long and an error from Tharp. Skinner goes out. Rutherford is out today. Obviously, there's a drop-off when you go to a freshman who's going to have to fill that role. But they're all still good.
Well, the top recruiting class in the nation, and we're not talking of who's playing this fall. We're talking in the entire country of everybody that's playing this fall that will be playing this spring. So all 332 Division I volleyball teams, Kentucky had the #1 recruiting class. So yeah, we're talking a pretty elite group of freshmen.
Good job to keep that alive. White set it up to the outside, and then Shipes comes through with the kill.
It's a great shot by Shipes. That ball coming over her shoulder and and still sliding it down the line past Lily into the corner. Well done by Tatum Shipes.
And winning a long rally, which you have to do sometimes if you're going to come on the road like Auburn and compete with a Kentucky. And a big block. That's what Auburn does. It's Shipes. McClellan closing the door from the middle.
Nice move here. Shipes gets her hands over quick, and Teeler's got nowhere to go. That ball drifting towards the net a little bit, but Teeler's got not a chance against Shipes on that ball.
Stumler's first shot overpassed, second shot killed. Well, if at first you don't succeed, just reset. And Stumler back to the service line. Sophie Fisher checks back in. We mentioned an embarrassment of wealth and riches. Sophie Fisher, part of this #1 ranked recruiting class. She's playing her second career match today. They didn't even use her for the first 3 matches of the season.
First team All-American, Sophie Fisher, she and Reagan Rutherford, both part of the elite group of 24.
Here's that last point for Auburn, Durrell.
Teeler late that time to close the block. Durrell takes advantage.
Out to Fisher. Good coverage by Curry. Here's Teeler, hard off the high hands, and Ajani Teeler. Feed the horses that brought you to the dance.
And Teeler hits from the right when she's in the middle. As a middle blocker, she hits from the right more than she hits from the middle. She played a lot of right side last year, so it's just an interesting use of personnel here, something Craig Skinner is known for. Take who you got and make them better.
Lily went up to try to joust that. It may have been already over the net on Auburn's side, but Kentucky gets the point out of it, and Brent Crouch needs time with his... Will be a 7th-year senior and will graduate with a PhD. There has to. Has to.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a crazy time.
It's the first kill for Sophie Fisher.
Fisher slides that ball into a split block, and that's really just Madison Lilly's ability to spread the offense and hold that middle blocker, because Getzinger was headed to the other pin.
It's 6 Cats with the 21 kills, and that's off the candy cane to give Kentucky its 22nd point here in the first set.
Yeah, that was one of the first times that we've seen Barrett just not really handle the ball very well. She stuck it out there where Jaden Brown really didn't have a lot of choices.
Barrett responds by going out to McClellan and uses the hands to get the point for Auburn. You know, Kentucky had lost 3 consecutive opening sets, so it was interesting to see how they would respond in the opener here today. And then Avery Skinner goes down just a couple of points in. Kentucky's responded marvelously. Lily out to the other Skinner, and it's the younger Maddie Skinner coming through with the kill. That is her 3rd in 5 swings.
Maddie Skinner playing right side, but hitting on the outside on serve receive here. Getting the ball through the block. Again, when you've got Getzinger going to the other pin, the middle for Auburn has to make a choice.
Good swing through the block by Jaden Brown. Gabby Curry just recycles that. Big stuff, Getzinger out on Jaden Brown. The front row is unfair for the Kentucky Wildcats. You're gonna look at that picture for a long time. And set point is served long. Got a lot of set points coming up there.
Yeah, Auburn struggling to find offense here.
Lily out to Stumler, and Stumler finds the floor. Kentucky, a winner by 11 here in the first set. And the good news is that Avery Skinner, back out on the bench. Kentucky rolling. 16 kills for 20.
Their second team All-American. There's only 24 in those classes, so that's 3 kids right there out of the top in the country. And again, we've talked a lot here about Kentucky's #2 rating here with just the teams that are playing this year, but this recruiting class is against everybody. So this is an elite freshman group.
Kentucky starts on defense here in set number 2, and Auburn goes outside to Durrell for the first swing. Bump set, Stumbler got a free ball opportunity. Try the other pin. Shipes, little tip drill, and Auburn, as it did in set 1, gets the first point here in set 2. Getting points was the difficulty, though. Auburn hit -37 in the first set. It has to find a way to find consistent offense. Pushed out to Stumbler and dribble it through the wickets, even up those points. Talked about the success of the Kentucky freshman in that first set. You're going to look at Maddie Skinner. She was the #2 overall rated recruit in the country. Quick attack in the setter, Barrett.
And the 2 kills so far that Auburn have both been on tips. There's Maddie Skinner, who got 3 kills in that first set. Elise Getzinger out of the middle, 2 kills on slides, and Sophie Fisher 1 on the outside. So of the 16, 6 of them came from that freshman class.
Auburn with a slight 2-1 lead here early, and that's tough off the hands. The high dig for Durrell knots us in 2. You mentioned the 2 tips for Auburn.
Here's Ashani Teeler on just a high ball in the middle. We've seen her hitting on the right. Now, instead of setting her quick in the middle, they're setting her a 2-ball in the middle. Again, you can see the Auburn block not closing on Ashani Teeler.
Got a good angle, the way that she cut that. Good up by Curry. Lily out to Stumbler. Tip for her, drops in right in front of Durrell. Go back to the tips for Auburn, though, quickly, because Jackie Barrett had the last point scorer. She attacked 18 times as a setter in their loss last week against South Carolina. She is aggressive, and if you're Kentucky, you've got to be at least aware of that going forward. Durrell gets blocked. Stumbler, a little hesitation. Durrell the first touch. And a tough bump set for Barrett.
Just met a lack of communication there. Barrett feeling as if Libero was going to take that ball. Bella Rosenthal, but she didn't. And so just falls to the floor. Not something that Brent Crouch wants to see.
So Tharp in to serve and then aces Durrell. Kentucky is going at the senior transfer out of Colorado, Lauren Durrell, who was just awesome against South Carolina last week. But they're trying to make her receive and trying to take her out of the offense. Tharp again, goes right to her. Outside, it's Brown, and tools the block. Auburn back with it, too.
Brown, the first time here that she's actually playing on the outside, but has been training on the outside all year. Brent Crouch thinks her contributions in the spring and the rest of this fall are going to be on the left, not in the middle. So she's played middle in matches, but training on the outside.
Gonna push it right back out to Jaden Brown. Tip it. Good save running across. Free ball sent over by Teeler. Back set. Slide is stuffed. Good response. Stumbler tricks it right through off the forearms of Jaden Brown.
It's a great play here by Stumbler. She catches Jaden Brown kind of what I would say in no man's land.
It's almost like she was in coverage for a block touch.
Yeah, just a roll shot right up high into her body.
So Stumbler back to serve. And that one is out.
Jaden Brown again. It's a tough transition to move from middle to the outside. There's just so much more things, so many more things that you have to manage in terms of timing of when you start your approach. In the middle, it's all just reactions. And Jaden Brown learning all that. Brent Crouch pleased with her practice, with her progress, but at this point, she's still finding her way.
Good response by Kentucky just to keep that point alive and then turn it into a kill for Ajani Taylor. That's why the Wildcats are really good. You can get them out of system, they respond, get themselves in system, and come through with a nice kill. Brent Crouch is going to challenge whether or not this last one was in, though.
Yeah, and it'd be interesting to see. We didn't see anything very obvious here. Sometimes coaches use challenges just to kind of stop momentum. So Brent Crouch maybe not wanting to use his timeouts here, and so saying, hey, let me challenge this. Let's have a few minutes to talk about this. His team is very out of sync right now, and there's some reasons for it, Joel. I mean, you know, the ability to have any kind of rhythm in practices for coaches this fall has been very much interrupted. It's been interrupted by contact tracing.
Especially as a new coach, when you're trying to teach a lot, I think.
And the ball was clearly tipped off Barrett's arms, so clearly in.
Now, calling a timeout probably gets less time than if he uses a challenge there, by the way.
If he loses that, if he uses that challenge. And so, yeah, he's in a new program, and he's not been able to train consistently. He's got players playing new positions. He's got injuries.
Fisher drills that one down between Tatum Shipes' feet.
I think we've seen it also. We've watched a lot of football, and we've seen it there also, is that things are ragged right now because we don't have the preparation that coaches and teams are used to having.
How much 6-on-6 are you doing in practice? Probably different than normal. There's Barrett, quick attack again. Over on 2 for the setter. Brown sends that, wanting a touch, did not get it.
No, that time Brown, she got a touch. Yeah, I think went off a little. Yeah, so there's a nice swing by Jaden Brown. Maybe it was Taylor, but I think got him. Or maybe it was one of each of their hands, but
Taylor put her hand up and said, yep. Auburn down 5. Won't help. It's service error number 2 for Auburn here tonight. Also, Auburn is playing without their leading attacker, and there's another pushover by the setter, but then getting back into position, gets dumped right back down in front of her. Good work by Bella Bell in off the bench for Kentucky.
Redshirt freshman. It's the first time that we've seen her in the middle of a match this year. But yeah, as I said, redshirt freshman, so you add her to this rest of the stacked class.
Val Green is out for Auburn, who came into the day 27 kills, their leader, a little bit more than 2%. So Auburn's having to compensate for her illness, a non-COVID related illness, the reason she's not here. Little dump over again. We've got setters going back and forth, and Madison Lilly comes through with the kill. That's her 7th of the season.
Madison Lilly, very, very efficient with this. You need your setter to be, if your setter's dumping, your setter needs to be up and around the 700s because otherwise you want them setting hitters. Madison Lilly, very, very efficient. She dumps when no one's paying attention, not when she's frustrated with her hitters. And, sometimes younger setters will dump out of frustration. Here, let me take this over. You don't ever see it with Lilly, but you shouldn't. She's a senior.
Little float. Shipes had the first touch. Back set. Durrell off the arms of Maddie Skinner, and that's a senior taking advantage of a freshman. Yeah, maybe a part of it is Madison Lilly seeing Jackie Barrett try it and going, no, child, this is how it's done. Welcome to my world. I'm the center of the year. Skinner into the tape.
And gets away with it, actually. Maddie Skinner dropped her arm pretty good there and stuff, but caught the Auburn block on the way down. Sometimes better to be lucky than good.
So Peyton White back to serve for Auburn. Sophie Fisher, chicken wings, keep that alive. Stumbling right into a block, trying to send over the free ball, and then look at the pursuit by Skinner. And Gabby Curry's upset with herself.
Gabby Curry should be. There were two great saves there, and Gabby Curry just careless with that ball, something you don't see from Gabby Curry very often. But
the libero of the year in the SEC a season ago gets the first touch to redeem herself. Maddie Skinner misses long. She has an absolute cannon attached to her right arm. But like many freshmen, it's learning how to harness that. And her sister went through it. That's been the story of the last 4 years for Avery. But boy, is the sky the limit for number 2 in White.
Yeah, Craig Skinner was talking about her the other day, saying that he thinks her ups.
The score in the opener here in Lexington. Kathy DeBoer, Joel Godet, glad to have you along with us. Avery Skinner, the leader in kills for Kentucky, went down with an apparent leg injury in the first set. It has opened the door, though. Her sister, Maddie Skinner, gets the first swing and the first kill coming out of timeout. If she's not careful, she's going to steal the mantle as rocket arm of the Skinner family.
Well, I think Avery's probably going to have something to say about that.
Avery Skinner back out on the bench. She went into the locker room at the end of the first set after stepping on Elise Getzinger's leg coming down after a swing. Good up by Walker, the freshman. And Stumbler with the kill. Very small sample size, but what's impressed you with Maddie Skinner? This is really her first extended playing time, 5 matches into her career.
Yeah, I mean, the interesting thing is to listen to the coaches talk about her. I think the reason she was ranked the number 2 player in the country is because she has such a well-rounded game. I mean, she's a good passer, she's a good defender, she's an above-average blocker. So we tend to just watch so much how well somebody hits. But really, to be an elite player, as Allie Stumbler, who got that swing, shows us, you have to be able to do it all. And just as we're talking her up, she just waves one about 15 feet out of bounds.
Yeah, it's harnessing that energy.
That's a jinx, okay?
Again, we talked about it before break. It's a little bit of what her sister went through when Avery Skinner got to Lexington, played a ton as a freshman, and then played herself out of the lineup a little bit. Part of that is she's playing along with and behind some All-Americans as Allie Stumbler picks up another kill. But there's a learning curve there, especially when you're a strong outside hitter, of how to make the right decisions and make yourself that complete player.
Yeah, and Avery was a middle blocker converted also, something that we've seen Jaden Brown struggle with here, or learn to do here on the Auburn side of the net.
Slide play for McClellan, and Auburn hanging around, down 5 here in the second set.
McClellan, a really nice get for this Auburn team. She started at Nebraska. She also, we've talked a lot about Under Armour All-Americans, and McClellan was a first-team All-American, so playing into that reputation.
Auburn's leader in hitting percentage a year ago. Push it out to Stumbler, and that is an absolute rod.
Stumbler's 11th kill, so Stumbler definitely here with Avery Skinner out. Madison Lilly very comfortable here with giving Allie Stumbler just about any kind of a set, knowing that something good is going to happen.
And look at that percentage. That's not one good day or a mirage. That's consistent for Stumbler, for everybody on Kentucky's roster this season. And Ajani Taylor able to tool the block. And she came in hitting .464. Now she's a middle blocker. Percentage is usually higher. How sustainable is this for Kentucky? You're 5 matches in, but hitting a percentage that last year would have led the country, .337.
Yeah, I mean, the sample size is too little at this point in time, and they know that. But yeah,
enjoy it while you have it.
Yeah, you work every day in practice to.
Lily got up there for the joust and winds up with the point. Madison Lily was roadkill.
Yeah, falls down. Yeah, let's see if our guys can get us this replay here.
I mean,
where here she trips over Teeler, falls down.
Come on.
And still has it go off Jaden Brown out of bounds. So, yeah, Kentucky right now, just everything going their way.
One little blip. Jackie Barrett, the setter, able to force one over. She's been quite offensive this afternoon. It's actually her second kill. She's taken the 4th most swings on Auburn's roster, which from your setter is not often where you want to wind up. Lily out to Stumbler, and again a frozen roll. I would love to put a radar gun on the right arm of that young lady.
Shows a lot of range here. Going down the line, past the block, taking it right past Lauren Durrell.
What's Durrell thinking there when that comes at you with that velocity?
Get out of the way. Oh, no, you're not supposed to think that. You're thinking, I need to challenge that.
Brown into the block, gets the point.
Gets the point, just pushes Teeler a little bit off the net here and stuff. Just hits it. Sometimes players will hit it hard enough that they just move the block. And see, this looks like that's exactly what she did to Teeler. Teeler's late to the outside, and Durrell just gets it inside of him.
Now, Lily thought she was tooled out of bounds. Was looking around for the ball. Good save by Durrell. That is geometrically challenging to get that over the net safely. And then Sophie Fisher kills it. It was great pursuit by Auburn, but Kentucky leads by 8.
Fisher just going over the top there and stuff. You know, I mean, this Kentucky team has lots of good size, but Sophie Fisher is 6'5". So 6'5", and she's an above-average jumper, and so she can get to balls, make things happen on balls that other players just can't hit at the same height.
Originally a commitment to the University of North Carolina, reopened her commitment. Kentucky was Sophie Fisher's final visit. Lasting impression. Durrell into the block. Really nice coverage by Shipes out of the back row. Feed Durrell again, and the point. You've mentioned it many times for Kentucky's Madison Lily. Feed someone who just makes an error. It wasn't an error for Durrell, but give her another chance.
Yeah, absolutely. Peyton White, libero there. Just hanging the ball up there for Durrell, and she drills it into the corner.
And those are the ones, if you're an outside hitter, you've got time, it's a high ball, go put a hard swing on it. Behind the center there for Bella Bell. Do you salivate with those kind of opportunities as a hitter?
The one-on-ones, for sure. I mean, they're the places where you know you've got an opportunity.
Kentucky hitting .433 here in this second set. Nearly throwing ace in on top of that. Rosenthal chasing it down. Lily out to Skinner. There's a tip for the freshman. Durrell off the hands of the freshman. Bell, nice swipe through. 6'3" in the middle. The height is relentless for Craig Skinner's Wildcats, and a timeout taken by Brent Crouch. So if anybody's hitting .438, not only are they putting you in the Hall of Fame, but they're selling you a wing.
Yeah, just as comparison, I mean, Kentucky 34 kills, 8 errors. Auburn 16 kills, 10 errors. I mean, that's the difference in the match.
Auburn serves coming out of the timeout. Ton of freshmen remain on the floor. That's been the story, and Maddie Skinner, the one this time that takes advantage.
Jackie Barrett, the setter for Auburn, releases thinking she's going to get a tip, and Maddie Skinner just about takes off the right half of her head.
It's 4 kills on 10 swings for the younger Skinner. Tipped by Douglas in the middle. Curry the bump set, Skinner blocked, and Curry was there for the coverage.
It's blocked there by Audrey Douglas closing the door on Maddie Skinner, who's going to take a big swing cross court. Douglas saying, not on my side of the net.
Set point, and Auburn with an ace to keep it alive. Peyton White served very well against South Carolina. Now she would have to serve ungodly well here to make a comeback in this second set, but you mentioned it, little things, little victories win this point. Sophie Fisher does that for Kentucky, and the Wildcats lead it 2-0. 25-16, Kentucky hitting nearly 400 as a team through 2 sets. Doing so without Avery Skinner, senior leader in kills, went down with what we now have confirmed is an ankle injury in the first set. Came down on Elise Getzinger's ankle. Officially, her return is questionable, although I think at this point, Craig Skinner is content to let her sit this one out as the rest of the team takes care of things, because Allie Stumler and the freshmen have been awesome.
Yeah, I mean, Stumler has just killed balls, she's tipped balls, she's hit angles, she's hit the line. Just 33% of Kentucky's kills coming from Stumler here. 12.
Madison Lilly, the All-American setter, has done a phenomenal job spreading the offense too, because as good as Stumler has been, Teeler has 6 kills, Maddie Skinner has 5, Sophie Fisher has 4, Bella Bell has 3, and what did Craig Skinner tell us? We need to make sure we remain diverse offensively, even though we have 2 really good horses on the outside. First swing is Bella Bell here in the third set. A lot of the redshirt freshmen in the middle, getting some run in place of Getzinger and getting blocked by Tatum Shipes. So Auburn, for the 3rd consecutive set, leads 1-0.
And this really, you can see everybody bunched in here. I'm thinking when Madison Lilly watches this on film, she'll go, ooh, not good choice. Bunched blocking, now going to your middle, kind of set them up for a fall.
Where would you have gone?
You got to go to a pin fast and make those blockers chase that ball.
Stumler picks up kill 13. She is hitting 400. And an ace for Kentucky. Gabby Curry found the edge.
3rd ace on the match.
Nearly had another one. Free ball sent over by White, the libero. Lilly to the middle. Maddie Skinner right down the pipeline. It's diversity of which hitters you choose, and then diversity of where you're shooting them from.
Absolutely, and so this is a little bit like a free ball drill here. You know, you've got 3 really good hitters, and it was a free ball that came over, so as a blocker, you just kind of go, okay, next.
Tatum Shipes down the line for Auburn, makes it 3-2. Allie Stumler, we talked about coming out of the break, 13 kills on 30 swings. She has made only 1 error. It's been a really solid night for her. However, and Stumler gets another swing here with the roll shot. Craig Skinner said the next thing for her is to maybe take a couple of chances. And that's not what he meant. That's an error into the net. But he wants to see her take that next level, gamble a little bit, and if you make a mistake here, it's okay if it down the line leads to 2, 3, 4, 5 more kills than you would have ordinarily. How hard is that to do?
Well, Stumler's a junior. She's at the point where she's still always learning. I mean, that's one of the things he loves about her, is that she's never satisfied. He saw her never satisfied with her game.
This is Ryan Walker. Just can't get there.
Shipes picking up her 5th kill of the match.
It's off of White's hands with a high dig. We're tied at 4 as Maddie Skinner rotates out.
Maddie Skinner showing a lot of range also, playing right side, playing left side. getting kills from the middle, getting a little instruction from Teeler.
That looked like a dance move, though. I don't know if that was volleyball related. Maybe the celebration needed to improve. Out to Shipes. Good block. Kendall Paris has come back in the middle. First time we've seen the senior Kendall Paris since the first set of the year. When you asked Craig Skinner this week about whether or not we would see her, she's plugging away in practice.
Yeah, she had the starting position, and then Getzinger gives him a little bit more range because she can hit behind the setter better than Paris, and so he started going with Getzinger, and she hasn't let it go. But here we get another look at Kendall Paris, and first show what she can do. Starter for actually 2 years now.
Senior out of Columbus, Ohio. Played really well in the NCAA tournament a year ago. 5 blocks against Southeast Missouri State. But so goes it when you're in a really good program, you get challenged. Sophie Fisher the kill by freshman. Competition's good for everybody as long as you can handle it.
Sophie Fisher quick to the ball, beating the block there.
Cats in a limited women's volleyball season here in the fall. 61 teams are playing. The SEC, 8 matches over the course of 4 weeks. But still, one of the best offensive teams in the country this fall, proving again here this afternoon. Wildcats hitting nearly 400, and it's because of things like that. Just an embarrassment of riches across the front line offensively. Even without Avery Skinner, who went down with an ankle injury in the first set. Wildcats +2 here in the third. Back set, Chesney McClellan. Now it's Shipes down the middle, and she's terminal for Auburn. What about the offense for Kentucky is next? Because the question isn't just what you can do today, but it's what Craig Skinner's team will be able to do in January, February, March.
Or even tomorrow. I mean, what we've seen in these back-to-back matches is that teams learn a lot about each other between one day and the next. And so Kentucky will face this Auburn team again tomorrow. And if you look at Auburn's performances against South Carolina and Florida, their first 2 opponents, they've been considerably better on the second day. And so, yeah, you know, for Kentucky also, how do they come back tomorrow? Depending on how this one ends, it's still a ways from being over, but if today turns out to not be a terribly competitive match, do they come back with fire tomorrow?
Jaden Brown with the kill. Kentucky tomorrow will take on this Auburn team again, and then it deals with Mississippi State on the road in Stark Vegas.
And a surprising Mississippi State team in that they beat Texas A&M twice last week at A&M. Texas A&M, a tournament team last year, and Mississippi State only won 1 conference match in the last 2 years. So Julie Darty getting that program turned around, another new coach in the SEC.
The question we asked Craig Skinner, there's a joust with Brown and Lilly. Shipes chasing it down. Kentucky is the #2 ranked team in the country. Bell off 1 foot with the kill. But they're #2 of the 61 teams that are playing this fall. So what will it look like when the Big Ten throws its hat in the ring, the Pac-12 throws its hat in the ring? We said to Craig Skinner, how good are you really? And his response is, we play the game of volleyball well. Very diplomatic answer. But it's not about winning the fall for Craig Skinner. It's about what they can do at the end of April.
Well, yeah, and the interesting thing this year for all of these teams is the Big Ten is only playing a conference schedule, conference only. The SEC is playing conference only. And so you don't, the Pac-12 is playing conference only. We have no matchups here between these conferences.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is all really looking at film, looking at numbers, and TJ Mayer at Houston is Maddie Skinner here, getting another kill through the block, off the blocker's hands for her 8th TJ Mayer at Houston is the chair of the volleyball committee that's charged with picking the 48 teams that are going to go to this year's championship, 16 of which are at large. And you're picking 16 at-large teams with almost no conference versus conference play. So he used to be on the staff at Kentucky here many years ago as an assistant coach and chair of the committee. Probably an assignment he wishes he could avoid this year.
Just going to put him in a hat and play Go Fish. There's an ace for Raya Walker. That's now 5 in the matchup for Kentucky. Sends it to the libero, White out to Shipes, and that somehow stays alive. Kentucky's defense has been tremendous, especially the quick reactions. Stumbler, roll shot, good pancake, although Barrett doesn't get underneath the ball. And Stumbler with kill number 16.
One of the things playing against this Kentucky team is just Barrett doesn't quite get there, but it was after 2 just bang plays on the Kentucky side, and so Kentucky just frustrates their opponents with defense, and Craig Skinner likes that. I mean, that's what he wants them to do, where we make it really difficult to put the ball in the floor, and after a while, opponents.
Well, it's annoying. It's demoralizing. You think you have a kill.
By the way, is not that uncommon. In the 80s and 90s, girls basketball was the top team sport for girls in high schools. In the last 5 years, 6 years, it's been volleyball. And so lots of volleyball players, lots of basketball players, moms here having to deal with their daughters playing volleyball.
A bunch of players on both teams have actually said that. I played basketball, I switched to volleyball. Bella Bell has the kill for Kentucky. That's 5 for the redshirt freshman. Tatum Shipes' mother, by the way, played at Kentucky, then transferred to the Masters in California. That's where she met a basketball player who would go on to become Tatum Shipes' father. It's funny how those things all work out. Winding Road, we're back here in Lexington. Tatum Shipes' team is down 4 here in the 3rd set. It's the amount of young ladies, though, that say, I wish I would have found volleyball early when they make that switch. Durrell amongst them with the bump set over. There's Stumbler. Good up by White. Free ball from Shipes. Maddie Skinner. Here's Durrell, tip drill. Curry did her darndest, but Durrell goes off speed. She was into equestrian before she found volleyball. Made the switch right before high school. That is not a jump you necessarily see all the time.
Yeah, from a horse to where you do the jumping. First the horse does the jumping. But yeah, Durrell also from Tennessee and grew up there and stuff. Her father
grew up everywhere, yeah.
Football coach at the University of Colorado, where she spent her first 2 seasons.
Maddie Skinner able to get the touch. Played at Colorado, then transferred, then her dad got the head coaching job at Colorado. Her family does have a house in Boulder. Did even before her dad got the coaching job there, but former head coach at UCLA, coached in the NFL for a very long time. In a similar boat as Brent Crouch, first-year head coach of a college football program trying to make way in a COVID era. I don't envy any of those people trying to build programs right now. Craig Skinner is going to challenge this Auburn point.
And all of the Kentucky team thought it was their point. Gabby Curry standing back at the service line going, of course that's our point. We'll see.
And Craig Skinner could look at this and say, I'm up 2-0. I'm up in the 3rd set. Let it go. We'll win to fight the next point. But this aligns with his attitude that he told us during the week of, no. Play every point to win. It's an attitude, it's a mentality, it's a championship mentality. I don't know if I see a touch.
Yeah, this, I mean, from the angles that we're seeing, this ball was clearly, hit over the top of the block by Tatum Shipes, out of bounds. And again, that's what the Kentucky players thought. Gabby Curry standing back there with the ball. But that's why we have the system. Coaches get 3 challenges. Brent Crouch has taken 1. This is Craig Skinner's first.
When you've got nothing else to do.
The Kentucky
Sophie
bench
Fisher's just lost in that, like, trying to figure out the moves. I've heard some coaches will say...
Certainly doesn't look like there's a touch there.
They don't paint your nails, some coaches will say, because you want your fingertips to be as least visible as possible in a setting like that.
It's interesting that this is taking as much time as it is, because all of the angles that we're looking at say no touch. Let's see what the call is. Yeah, okay, they saw a touch.
Or didn't see enough to say there was no touch.
Overturn it. Yeah.
Dance party over for Craig Skinner's squad. It's a 3-point set here in the third. Auburn just trying to chip away. We've said this for Brent Crouch. It's about making progress. Try to take a set from a Kentucky squad here. Stumbler just going to go get that point back.
Yeah, it's interesting what Auburn is doing with their serving. They're serving Gabby Curry, so they must feel like there's some vulnerability there, because when they need points, they're serving Gabby Curry, and she so far has delivered perfect passes, which generally then lead to side-out points.
Well, and what Missouri did so well last week was serving Stumbler and serving Skinner, and that's just out for Auburn. Serving the 6 rotations to at least try, A, to make them pass, but B, try to take him out of the offense.
Yeah, and Stumbler's the only one who's staying in right now, passing when she's in the back row, or when she's in the front row, still part of the passing pattern. But
there's Stumbler. Walker with the up, right back to Stumbler. Barrett sets Shipes right into a double block. Not a lot that Shipes could do with that.
Yeah, it's a nice decision here to tip by Stumbler, because Shipes is coming over to cover the tip from the outside hitter position, and so she couldn't get all the way back out to the outside. Allowed the block to close off her options.
There's McClellan on the slide. Stumbler puts it down next to Durrell.
Stumbler's 18th kill, just 2 errors, but 40 swings. So out of the 96, getting more than 40% of the offensive opportunities here for Stumbler.
There's been some spread. Stumbler has 41 swings. Maddie Skinner has 17. Sophie Fisher has 9. Point goes back to Kentucky. Teeler had 9 when she was in. Bella Bell 8. So there's been some diversity. There's been a lot of changing pieces. But Stumbler still has 41 swings. Will Craig Skinner be happy with the offensive spread he's seen today?
When you have a lot of freshmen on the court, I think one of the things to have an Allie Stumbler out there where you know that you have somebody that you've played with for 3 years that you can count on. You know what she's going to do. I mean, they have a tremendous connection, and so probably makes sense here with Skinner on the sidelines, Avery Skinner on the sidelines, that Stumbler's gotten as many swings as she has today.
Ace by Tharp, then turns into an Auburn point. In response, and Shipes goes back to the line. Back-to-back aces by Tharp, by the way. Doubled her season total coming in. Kentucky's actually served very well tonight.
Yeah, they haven't. It's a little bit difficult to know, because I don't think that, at least up to this point in time, Auburn has not been an elite passing team, but Kentucky is generally a very good serving team. They've made very, very few errors here this afternoon, and given Auburn a lot of trouble. Auburn not in the system very often.
So with the win here in the third set, that would send Kentucky to 5-0 overall. Victories over Tennessee, Missouri, and Auburn. Mississippi State next week, Auburn still tomorrow. Back set, McClellan, nice dig in the back row. That's Maddie Berezowitz coming in off the bench, getting in on the action. And the bench getting just lit for the sophomore to get involved.
That was a great dig. That was an absolutely big time, perfect pass, diving dig.
As a coach, you have to love that. When a team that's got so much depth where competition time is so competitive, for everyone to get excited for everyone else in each situation. Fisher a kill, and the bench erupts again for the freshman doing work.
Fisher just gets to the ball just quickly and stuff. He has a pretty short, compact approach, and it's going to be hard to manage as a 6'5" outside hitter. As she gets stronger, she's going to be a good contributor for this Kentucky team.
7 kills today for Fisher. She had 1 swing in her career before. Lily back to Bell, good adjustment. Lily just took an absolute swing at that. A little bit long, but boy, did Madison Lily's eyes just widen.
Lily is a 5'11" setter and has some offensive punch to her. Got a good arm.
Long run for Barrett. Bell tools the block. It is match point for the Kentucky Wildcats, making quick work of Auburn thus far here this afternoon. In the middle, big block by Bell. Brown tight on the pin. It's Fisher who terminates, and Kentucky is 5-0.
Kentucky just way too much offense here for this Auburn team that only won 1 conference match last year and decided to make a coaching change after 6 years. Brought in Dr. Brent Crouch, who was a coach at the University of Southern California, so Southeastern Conference, picking off one of the best from the SEC, but he's got a lot of work to do with this Auburn squad and had much of it interrupted by the fact that about a month after he got the job, the entire country went into a lockdown with a pandemic. And so he's a good coach and he'll get it done, but today it was all Kentucky.
The Kentucky Wildcats, the #1 offensive team in women's college volleyball.